I guarantee at least 90% of you are pricing wrong. In my previous video, we went over why you cannot just charge $6 per pound hanging weight, or what a lot of you were charging for beef. I'll give a brief summary. So this was the math I went through. So if you're only charging $6 per pound hanging weight, say 750 pounds, 750 pound average hanging weight, you're charging $6 a pound. Your whole beef is only $4,500, less your processing costs, cut and wrap, kill fee, disposal fee. It's around about $1,000. It could be more, it could be less, but for ease of math, you're only making $3,500 for that animal. That's not taking into account how much you've had to feed that animal to get it to finishing weight, any fuel costs, any associated costs, let alone your operation costs. You cannot forget that. You cannot subsidize your beef operation by another part of your business or by an off-property job. These are cattle prices, or I'll just close this one. These are cattle prices. I took these from the beginning of the week, USDA cattle prices at the auction. So regardless of whether it is like a 300 weight or an 800 weight, you're getting approximately $2,500 to $3,000 per animal. So 300 weight, $295. You're getting $630 per hundredweight. So 3 times that is around about $2,000. Same for the 800 weight. It's half. So the 800 weight is $340 per hundredweight. So multiply that by 3. You're getting approximately $2,500 to $3,000. Okay, so back to this, you cannot only be charging $6 per pound because you're losing money. There's no point selling beef direct to consumer if it's not making you a huge revenue and profit. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. This is the actual pricing sheet that we go through inside my program. So I built this, I share it with my farmers, and we're just going to very quickly go through it just now. Okay, so it's in 2 pages. Page 1 is all your operating costs. So I get my farmers to copy this, and then if they're diligent, they'll put in the actual costs every month for, say, last year or year to date. So like cattle sales, swine or hog sales, other income, and then expenses, so commercial cattle purchases, slaughter fees, grain, straw, shavings, minerals, vets, labor, operating, fuel, machinery, admin. All of this has to come out of what you make. Now, the one thing that so many people forget is that if you are a cow-calf operation, maybe I'll go back to me while I say this. So if you are a cow-calf operation and you do, say, 100 head of calves, and you're keeping back 10, you're taking 90 to auction, then those beef calves have to carry 1/10 of your operating costs. You cannot pull money from the calf sales to subsidize your beef sales. Makes sense? That's one thing so many people forget. Think of it this way. If you aren't making money and you are losing money doing beef, you are paying for other people's groceries. Just because someone could get, like a purchaser could purchase for $3, $4, $5 a pound hanging weight, doesn't mean they should, because you, the farmer, are essentially subsidizing their beef bill. You should not be cheaper than Walmart. You should not be sacrificing your hard work and your earnings to fill somebody else's freezer. Okay, so we're going to go back. This one. We're going to go back here. So the first page, you put in all your overheads. The next page is where you would start to build out how much it costs you to raise that animal. So if you are weaning, you would put, live weight, weaned weight. If you were purchasing, like say you're purchasing an 800 weight or a 600 weight, you would put that weight in here. What is your hay price? What is your grain price? How many days were they on pasture? How many days were they on hay? Average daily weight gain, cost per head per day on pasture if you're grazing. We've tried to make it account for everything that you need to get that animal at processing weight, at finishing weight. And then live weight when entering finishing feed, number of days on finishing feed, etc., etc., until it spits you out a number. Cost of feed, 1889. So almost $2,000 for these numbers. And then the next block, so there's 3 blocks. The next block is your cost of goods sold. So this is your processing. So 800, or we can put 750 because that was the numbers we were using. So 750 pound hanging weight, butcher cost, slaughter cost, starting cost, feed, fuel, etc. And then this last block down here, this is going to give you your net. Net is pure profit. Everything has been paid. A tenth of your operating costs have been paid. Mortgage has been paid. Everything has been paid. That is going to pull from this page here. So I know these aren't your numbers, but it's a good illustration. So it's $6 per pound hanging weight. You're making a gross profit, but you're negative 25% net. So you will absolutely be subsidizing your beef operation from other parts of your farm, and that does not work. You don't start making a profit until you're at $8 per pound. So then you make 35% gross and 6% net. Obviously, these aren't your exact numbers, but these are an illustration. So if you are sat there wondering, but I'm selling beef, why am I losing money? This is why you are losing money. This little table here, you might be making gross, but you're not taking into account the cost of finishing that animal, getting it to processing weight, and all the other associated costs. I hope that makes sense. I hope that kind of goes into the math behind your pricing a little bit more, and why it is so important to know your pricing. There is no point doing this if you're not making profit, and you should not be subsidizing someone else's grocery bill. So stay tuned. Lots of videos on this. I will go through everything that you need to have a profitable beef business.